I will get the art supplies. Okay, so my mom told me the story just to like recap really quick. My mom told me the story just recently. My great 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 grandfather was the leader of our tribe, of our Washat service, which is our Sunday service. It's what we practice for our religion on Sundays. And back then we weren't allowed to practice because it was basically when we were being whitewashed, and the boarding schools, they were putting us into boarding schools and basically saying we weren't allowed to speak our language and we weren't allowed to practice our traditions. So the superintendent found out that we were practicing our traditions, and he sent the tribal police, which were actually native police. He sent the tribal police to come and cut up our drums. So when they got to the longhouse, they cut up our drums and they roped my great 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 grandfather. Sorry, four greats. I'm just going to say four greats grandfather or grandfather. So roped him around the chest, and they dragged him behind horse all the way from Kah-Nee-Ta, what is Kah-Nee-Ta now, and all the way to Warm Springs where the jail was. And when my mom was telling me the story, I cried. I was crying because this is, and having it be the first time, it was really intense. So the people followed helplessly because there was nothing they could do. When he got to the jail, he was basically raw to the bone on his shoulders. They still brought him into the jail, cut his braid off, and our hair is sacred. It was a huge, huge thing for them to do that. And so they cut his braid off and they threw him in the cellar. And my mom said that when she was telling me the story, that my aunt always likes to say this part of the story, but that there was rattlesnakes and scorpions, and none of them touched him in this cellar. And he continued to do the Washat service actually from the cellar, and the people stood outside and prayed with him. And basically, when you sing the prayer songs, you sing and then you go, "I," and you raise your hand like this, and then that's basically like saying amen. And so the people would do that outside after he would sing the prayer songs. They would go, "I." And so he survived, and when he was released, he actually was banned from the reservation that he was the leader of. And so he retreated to what is called Priest Falls, or I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it was just by coincidence it was called that. There he met a Catholic priest, and the priest decided, or had the idea, he heard his story and had the idea. He said, "I'll build a church right next to your longhouse, and when I do that, they won't be able to bother you." And that's exactly what they did. They went to Kah-Nee-Ta, right by Kah-Nee-Ta, and built a new longhouse. And they built that church, the Catholic church, right next to it. And the priest did his practices there, and then the people were never bothered by the officers after that.